I am going to concentrate on selling the live plants because, like the Chinese, I believe in do not give me fish, but please teach me how to fish. Because when you teach me how to fish, I can always go back and get my own fish. Okay, so that's my philosophy in life. I want you to be totally independent. The money will always come. People say, oh, why are you giving away all your secrets? Well, what am I holding it for? That's the beauty of life. When I share, I'm happy. And when you use it and you see the results, you'll also be very, very happy.
Ayẹlẹ o, ìbọ̀sí o. Ayẹ̀dọ̀ríkodò kò yé ni mọ́.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, brethren. Here we are again on our second encounter. I hope you've all done well in the interim. What I'm going to concentrate upon today is a program that I describe as Nature's Pharmacy. Nature's Pharmacy. I'm going to share with you what ingredients or what tiny plants or vegetables you can grow around you or use for wellness, for longevity, to prevent certain key diseases that afflict us as humans. The reason I developed these grow bags is nothing other than to make it possible for you to think plant-based. The WHO has now told us that plant-based eating is really what helps us to be healthy. This is what helps us to live long, because it helps us not to accumulate a whole lot of weight. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to share with you the grow bags I have developed to help everybody grow their begonias, grow whatever vegetables that they really like, even at their doorsteps. So I describe it to my children as veggies on your doorstep or instant gardens, and I have them in different sizes. I will start with the baby size. This is a bag that allows me to teach my grandkids that they need to learn to plant. Planting is easy. Planting is natural. It's highly intuitive. When you put some soil here, Miracle Grow is a good brand, or any other brand will do, of garden soil. You put in your sticks of begonia, and guess what? You have a plant. It's that simple. I've done it for 25 years here, about 22 years here in New Orleans. And in Nigeria, we have all kinds of land, so we never did plant in bags. But here, it's a wonderful way to get those plants around you. And when you teach your children to plant, they now think about health. They now think about what is good for my body. It helps them to have more vegetables in their life, especially medicinal vegetables like the one we're describing. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are all from my garden. The pictures are all from my garden, and this is made out of a material that actually breathes. It's polyurethane that breathes, and it's climate change acclimatized. In other words, it survives any weather that you have. As a matter of fact, we're also arranging to have even taller ones, because I've noticed that when my begonias get really tall, if I want to keep them, to keep cutting them and putting them back, I'd like to have them even taller. So I'm really excited. These are the baby bags. They come in different, with different designs. All these are from my garden. Look at this. It comes with the cocoyam, the elephant ear cocoyam, which I'm very excited about, for hot flashes again in females. And Sweet Mother Naturals here. All these things are grown here in our vineyard. So these are the baby bags. I have about 5 different grape varieties. Now, these are the mommy bags. The mommy bags are bigger. They're approximately 18 by 14, which are about 10 inches deep. And this can easily hold as much as 10 to 20 plants very easily, because all you need to do is just put them again in miracle soil and top them up every 3 months. Or sometimes I buy the soil that lasts 6 months or 9 months, or however you want it. Now, this is the daddy size. This is the daddy size. This is the bigger daddy size. Still the grow bag. I think this one has my picture of the elephant ear. Now, this is the real mommy bag. The real mommy bag is kind of short, you know. Usually we like to defer to our men, even though we are supposed to be partners, but the man is the head of the family, so he's usually bigger and taller. I'm very excited about these. As a matter of fact, we're going to go outside and see the bags in action. The concept of instant gardens is that you can again just have these gardens wherever you live. Mm-hmm. And you know, my inspiration for these bags came because I was trying to help some young women to lose weight. And one of them lived in an apartment, and she said, Dr. Tina, I really would love to plant some jalapenos. Mm-hmm. So I came here, I gave her a grow bag, and in about 3 to 6 months, she had the most beautiful jalapenos. She gave them back to me. She was actually crying. She said, Dr. Tina, you have taught me so many great things. Just being able to plant is therapeutic, especially those of us who went through Katrina. You know, when I went through Katrina, walking in my garden was fantastic therapy for me. So ladies and gentlemen, I could go on and on about my grow bags, but really the purpose of my grow bags is now to give you 1 or 2 words about some of the big diseases that afflict us in this time, in this country, and indeed all over the world. The first one is prostate cancer. As you know, prostate cancer in this nation afflicts about 200,000 men, and these are men who are wives, who have husbands, who are our husbands, our brethren, our fathers, and so it's of great concern to us. Now, what recipes can you create for a man using plants to run away from having prostate cancer, especially if it runs in their bloodline? Is there anything you can do? Of course you can. And those are the things I want to share in the ebooks that I'm developing, one step at a time. Because I've done this counseling right from the time, I'm 70 now, but right from the time I was like 26, 27, right from the University of Cincinnati. Because I was really a nerd. I loved to read and find out and share with people and just help them. So prostate cancer, a lot of it has to do with what you eat. It is environmental, there are gene issues with it, but you can also start early to start eating nearer vegetarian than the red meats. Because when you look at every single cancer, most of these big cancers, the thing that stands out the most is animal fat. Animal fat, animal fat. The very first weekend I spent here in New Orleans, I had just come down from Harvard in Boston, finishing my public health fellowship. I had the great opportunity to listen to one of the world's best cancer oncologists and looking at his data. What do we see when we look at most of these cancers? Whenever your animal fat consumption shoots up, your cancer rates begin to increase. Whether it's prostate cancer, breast cancer, and several other key cancers, so it's very important. Breast cancer, the same thing. Are there recipes that can help you prevent dementia? Of course there are. Okay, the berries group of ingredients, and the grapes, resveratrol, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, all those berries, they're very good. How about good old high blood pressure? Well, you know, salt restriction is number one. It's a long story, but a very short story. For me, I find that if I were to take a can of even Campbell's soup, traditional Campbell's soup, in the morning, By the afternoon, by 12 noon, my ears are ringing because my body just doesn't tolerate sodium as salt. So what can we do? Are there recipes for preventing constipation? Good old diabetes. Well, that's where we are in this business. How about cholesterol issues, chronic pain, recipes for arthritis, neuropathic pain, recipes for bladder infection, prostate cancer and breast cancer, again, recipes for preventing memory loss and other dementias, recipe for flushing out, abolishing hot flashes, recipes for keeping your skin healthy, growing your hair and nails, recipes for natural and permanent weight loss, recipes for triglyceride issues, and recipes for protecting and preventing common diseases such as diabetes. I've also put out a small pamphlet ebook which I'm calling Plants That Heal. And among those plants that heal, I've picked up 3 great plants. One, of course, is the Venonia amygdalina, which I am working on. I've worked on for almost 50 years now, considering I started nurturing the idea of making it into capsules, even as far back as when I was in Queen's School. Because my grandmother would always give us these baths, and we would feel so much better. There's something cleansing about those Onubu baths, for sure. The only thing is, I noticed, because of the large variety of compounds that it's been found to possess, that bitterness can actually darken your face. It can darken your skin sometimes. That's how powerful it is. It has alkaloids for pain. It has terpenes for cancers. It has sequiterpenes. It has saponins that keep your blood thin. It has lignins. So all of these biologically active compounds are the beauty of what we get when we either juice it or just chew it or use it in teas. So it's a very vital portion of what we have in West Africa, especially in Nigeria. So I think also it's very important for me to mention the fact that even though I haven't gone into how you cultivate it, we're able to do all these things with Venonia because it's propagated from the stem. It's propagated from the stem. And that's the beauty of it. You can just stick it in, usually cut about 2 to 4 inches. About 4 inches will be perfect because it allows it to supply that water and the nutrients to the tip of it. I find that if I do more than 4 inches, quite often a good portion of them will die on me because it's so much easier to ferry food to a 4-inch plant than another one that's 6 inches or even a foot. And this is out of experience of nearly 22 years or even more than that of planting. So it's easy to propagate. It is very easy to propagate. I saw it on Amazon, and they were selling a plant for about $36. So I said, you know what? I have easily over 2,000 plants that I can dispose of. Good. When I first joined Archie Pharmaceuticals, I was their president, their vice president for clinical traineeships, drug development, and marketing, in the sense that I was trying to get big organizations to buy their drugs, which are USP drugs. I actually walked into that factory in 2008 with a bottle of Venonia amygdalina capsules in my hands. But as you know, I'm older than some of them, and because their mothers use it in their soups, they couldn't see themselves sitting down and making bitter leaves. But voila, guess what? We now have bitter leaf capsules. And I'm happy and excited that other people have seen that vision and are following it. I am going to concentrate on selling the live plants because, like the Chinese, I believe in do not give me fish, but please teach me how to fish. Because when you teach me how to fish, I can always go back and get my own fish. Okay, so that's my philosophy in life. I want you to be totally independent. The money will always come. People say, oh, why are you giving away all your secrets? Well, what am I holding it for? That's the beauty of life. When I share, I'm happy. And when you use it and you see the results, you'll also be very, very happy. When you start, so then how do you use it? You can eat it like I do. I usually sprinkle about 1 teaspoon of olive oil. And that's another thing I really highly recommend, because olive oil is extremely healing. My husband and I were in Italy in 2011, and we walked into a restaurant, saw a woman who was 105 years old, still ministering at that restaurant. I said to her, I said, what's the secret to your longevity and your health? And she said, olive oil. She said, we eat with it, we bathe with it, we put it on our skin after, we use it on our hair. So olive oil is extremely useful for you, because it contains a lot of great non-saturated fats, oils that are emollients, they clean up your arteries, high antioxidant kind of compounds. So it's wonderful. Okay, the next thing I'm going to now talk to you about is, well, how do you get these? We have a website that we are setting up within the next few days, courtesy of Mr. Ben Moba. Our website will be up, and you can click and you can actually purchase these plants with the grow bags from us. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to now introduce my book, which probably is the reason why I really wanted to do this. Unbeknownst to me, my book had been listed on Amazon, only God knows for how long. That book, I wrote it mostly on the next one that can also be grown in this bag, and they really support each other very well. And that's my water leaves. Water leaves. The water leaves are beautiful, they are wonderful. This is a picture of the water leaf. And what they do is they hydrate you from the inside out. So it fights your wrinkles 24/7. It's a great plant. Back in the Calabar area of Nigeria, they use it for fertility and for making their maidens ready for marriage and childbearing. How do they do it? They eat it with a lot of vegetables and a good variety of fish. And they stay in one place, and their aunts and their mothers will come and just teach them how to be a woman, a mother, somebody who has the gift of bearing from her womb, somebody who can now hold a baby, nurture that baby, and really be a true mother. So it's a very common leaf that we also use, and quite often we use them along with the bitter leaf. So, ladies and gentlemen, how did I come into developing all of this work? As most of you know, I did mostly HIV pharmacotherapy, which is to say that I took care of the consulting aspect of taking care of HIV patients. What does that mean? When the doctors write the prescriptions, I oversee their regimens to make sure, number one, they're getting the right prescriptions. To make sure, number two, if they have any laboratory issues that should be addressed in giving them those medications, I make sure those are addressed. For instance, if I notice that their their kidney function is not as good as it should be, then I want to be sure that some of the medications that they're taking are renally adjusted. Does that make sense? It's kind of technical, but what it means is I make sure that they're giving them the dose that matches the state of their kidneys. So with all of that, many of our patients, after so many years, especially with the single, the quad regimens, which is a single pill with several ingredients, many of them became undetectable. They're very healthy. But they still sometimes went ahead and died of things like stroke. So that got me interested in strokes. The last few years before I actually retired, I did stroke prevention. Why do we worry about strokes? As you all know, I'm sure you've had relatives who have had strokes. When you have a stroke, it's often quite terminal. So now we want to look at, as pharmacists, people helping doctors to achieve the best outcomes, what can we do to prevent those strokes? And that's where my natural and permanent weight loss comes in. How can you keep your blood pressure at a normal range? First of all, you have to exercise. Exercise, exercise, exercise. In this bottle, that's a pill. It's a marvel of human medicine. It's going to make you breathe better, walk better, your muscles are going to be so, you can run so much faster. And in the end, what is this pill? It is exercise. All right? I also have that as an ebook, part of my ebook, just to stimulate you. Watch your blood pressure, make sure it's normal. 120/80. Yes, that's what's normal, because we notice that the lower it is, the better off you are, and the less likely you are to have a stroke. Avoid smoking. Nicotine in cigarette is a fantastic constrictor of blood vessels, and the blood vessels shoots up. Now, using Venonia, I also use it for people who smoke. It helps to bring back a lot of antioxidants into their system, which allows those vessels to breathe, literally breathe a little bit better. And of course, while they go ahead and stop smoking. What else can you do? Make sure your cholesterol, your triglycerides, all those other things, at least normal. You should have those done at least once in a year to have your inside checked out. What is a normal cholesterol? It should be less than 200. What's a normal triglyceride? Which is 3 glycerine molecules together as a bad fat, just like cholesterol, just like the bad cholesterol that's called LDL. It should be less than 150. Okay, I've also included a wellness guide for you. Fantastic wellness guide. I'm borrowing it from someone, I'm not exactly sure who I should acknowledge, but I was thankful when it came into my system, because I had developed my own, but this other one was more comprehensive. All right. But if anybody has a stroke around you, we say fast. Look at the face. Is it bent on one side? Look at their smile. Are they able to smile? If not, time is of the essence. Call the ambulance and let that person be taken to emergency room, because every minute really counts. So in my next video, we're going to look at the book. We're going to talk more about the book. I think it's already on our website, right? The book is already on our website. Mm-hmm. Okay. We can probably have an e-version of it so you can download and get all the beautiful recipes that are there. And so far, this is what I had in mind for you today regarding the grow bags, or what we call instant gardens, or what we call veggies on our doorsteps. Okay, and encourage your children to get involved. Just, we give you some seeds. We give you some seeds of the water leaf also, just to practice. But I see what really works out good is for kids to plant their own kidney beans and let it sprout up in about a week. The kids are so excited. Oh, that's my plant, that's my plant. Now, these things are acclimatized for climate change, which means they can work in any environment We've tested them in Nigeria. People who live in an apartment, you don't have land where you can do anything. Maybe you can actually put them in those bags. As long as they get a little bit of sun and you water them maybe once in a month, and you use mulch. My favorite mulch is just grass that has been cut on my lawn. I just pour it 75% and kind of cover them nicely, just like mothers cover their babies at night when it's cold. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop here because I know your attention may begin to wane after a while. We will have another session where we will talk about our decluttering bags and hopefully then our yoga mats. All right? All right. Thank you. I love the fact that you're following us. We do have a lot to share. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm looking forward to be with you again soon. Thank you and God bless you all.
Miri maramano uteim ebem nacho bimo bishalumo arakwalamo Miri mama ebem nacho bimo amutime eti ebem nacho bimo Miri maram